how did you become a non-feminist woman?
So I think whenever I was going through high school and into college, it was just kind of a thing. Feminism was just kind of a thing that was promoted and celebrated, and so it was something I just kind of went along with. So whenever we had like English and that sort of thing, so we were reading feminist literature and things like that. Yeah. It was just something that was presented to me in a way that I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I just kind of adapted some of those views just because this is what I was being taught. Yeah. Trusting my instructors. You know, women are oppressed for this reason and that reason, and basically just I didn't know better. Just being a young woman that's seeking higher education. These are things that people I presume to be intelligent and know about the world are telling me. I'm like, okay. And so based on kind of the way that I grew up in a single parent household with just my mother, and you know, she had her boyfriends that were maybe less than desirable people. I was able to see the things that I was being taught in my lived experience. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay. And then, so my grandparents have a very like traditional family structure. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was, you know, breadwinner. My grandmother had 5 kids. She took care of the household and that sort of thing. And so, and when I look at kind of their relationship when I was that age, I could see kind of the negative aspects. Mm-hmm. And so the negative aspects of their relationship were highlighted for me based on the things I was being told by, you know, professors, by things I would come across on YouTube or Facebook or what have you. And so I guess through college, I wasn't a particularly political person. I was much more interested in partying and making friends and focusing on my major and things like that. So this was around maybe like 2011 to 2013 is when I was, you know, first in college and getting my undergraduate and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't as in your face as it is today. So it was something that was just kind of snuck in to my life. Yeah. They were views that I adopted just because, you know, it's what I was exposed to. And so then I actually worked for a university starting around 2015. Mm-hmm. And so then there was a pretty big election happening, 2015, 2016. Mm-hmm. I did not really follow, I did not like Hillary Clinton just because I thought she was an evil, awful person. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really follow it. But I saw that a lot of my peers were very supportive of her because she was a woman. Mm-hmm. And so it started to raise some questions in my mind. I was like, why would you're going to support somebody just because they're a woman? Mm-hmm. But what about all these awful things about these people? Mm-hmm. Or about this person? Mm-hmm. And so I didn't really have like a view about Donald Trump. There were people that were very adamant about their hatred towards him and that sort of thing. But it was really something I stayed out of. But I remember, so the day things kind of changed for me. Yeah. I woke up after Election Day. I did not watch the election. I was not interested. Mm-hmm. I was like, Hillary Clinton has this bought and paid for, so I'm just going to keep moving on about my life. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. But then when I saw that she lost, I was like, how did this happen?
So there are other people with other thoughts, but you're not hearing them, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Exactly. But that was the day I started looking into it because I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I thought, this woman, had it all fixed, and I figured it was all rigged anyway. And now I'm early 20s at this point, so I don't really know anything about politics. I don't really know about the things people are talking about. And so, but it was very interesting to me. I was like, wow, I need to go back and look and see what happened here, because everyone around me is talking about Hillary Clinton this, Hillary Clinton that. So I went back and watched all of the things and all of the conversations that were happening in our country. And
what you find is that the people who think other things are not allowed to speak. So you're not going to hear them. You might they'll vote, but they won't speak, So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's just very interesting to me that, just based on, I would browse Facebook every now and then, but I wasn't really on the internet very much. I was more focused on, I work in healthcare, and so I was very into, just learning things about my field. I wasn't really in that world. And so just when you're not in it and you don't actively pay attention to what's going on, you just hear, just kind of snippets here and there. And there wasn't that other side. I didn't realize, I guess, there was another side. I thought, we're all on the same page about these different political issues and that sort of thing. And so I know that this is more about feminism, but this is kind of where things started to change for me.
Yeah. So what is your view on MRAs?
Oh, so anytime people align over an enemy, that, whatever organization that is only going to survive as long as the enemy does. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's the same thing with feminism and the patriarchy. I worry whenever groups of people get together, it's like, what's the end goal, and is there an end goal? Mm-hmm. So I do believe that there are instances where, men are kind of shafted in court when it comes to custody, and that's such a complicated case-by-case thing that I'm not sure what an organization would be able to do for something like that. I do agree that there are some issues because of feminism, today's feminism, that probably should be rectified, that people should rally together behind. I guess the issue for me is I don't know enough about MRAs and what their goals are and what they stand for to really have a true opinion about it. I do know that there's a lot of, man hatred going on these days, and I understand men feel shafted, and I do feel there is an attempt to emasculate our society, and so, that's it. It's tough, but I guess I don't really know enough about those types of groups because I have not, gone down the rabbit hole and really looked into that world. But I do know that there are issues that definitely need to be rectified. It worries me whenever people form like a collective group to go after something, because whenever they do that, there never seems to be an end. But that's just kind of my thoughts on the MRA thing.
And what is your view on intersectionality? Feminists have the, you've heard of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What is your view on intersectionality?
I don't like anything about intersectionality. I think it's rooted in like Marxist ideals. I'm relatively, I like little L libertarian, and I'm a Christian, and so I'm very big on meritocracy and the individual. I think intersectionality just puts people into groups and doesn't take into account individuality. And I think it's bad for people. I think we're just living in an age where we're all very lost and need something to hold on to. Religion has been so demonized in every aspect of our society, and so whenever you don't have a belief structure, something else is going to fill that void. And so unfortunately, I think that a lot of that has happened to our young people. You know, they're very lost. They don't know which direction to go in. They're being pulled in different directions, and people that they are supposed to trust, and, you know, get an education from and that sort of thing and learn how to live their life, are being fed a bunch of nonsense. And so it's not good.
Okay.